Hello everyone, and thanks so much for joining me on another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. I hope that you're all well and doing good. My name is Mark Tweedy, I am your host, and before we get started with anything this week, I would love nothing more for you all to just share a screenshot with a picture of yourself from where you're listening right now. So whether that be in the car, walking to work, lay in bed, in your office, wherever you're listening to this episode basically, take a photo of yourself, screenshot the episode that you're listening to, and tag me on Instagram because I love seeing all your posts. And I want to try and fill my Instagram story with as many of your shares as possible. So tag me, I am at Canny Crystals. If you've got ears, I'll address the elephant in the room right now. I'm a little run down this last week, if I'm honest. I've ended up with a bit of a cold, again. So I'm a little bit snuffly at the moment, so apologies if I sneeze during this recording, but I've been taking every bloody vitamin known to man. You should see me little vitamin pill box. I'm like a 90-year-old woman. But I just know I've been working so much lately that I've not really concentrated on my self-care this last couple of weeks. And it's starting to show. So I'm going to practice what I preach this afternoon. Once I've recorded this, I'm going to have the afternoon off. I'm going to declutter the house. I'm going to go for a lovely little family walk. And then I'm going to spend some time in the garden because right now in Newcastle, it's 22 degrees. I don't know about where you are in the world. It's 22 degrees here. We haven't had this kind of weather for about a year now. So I'm going to make the most of it. We've also got our adoption panel next Wednesday as well, which is when they basically decide if we're a good fit for baby, which is odd because, you know, he's been in our care since January and is absolutely thriving, by the way. I can't wait to talk about him more when I'm able to. But once panel is out the way, we can then make that formal adoption order to the courts, which will more than likely be June or July when it's all finalised. So I'm just looking forward to then because that looming over my head 24/7, it's a bit bloody stressful. Anyway, this week, I've been having some super weird dreams. I don't know about you, but I have anyway. And when I say weird, I mean like 100% tapped. One night, I dreamt that I'd jumped out of a hot air balloon, but I'd forgot my parachute. Don't know why I was doing that anyway. I forgot my parachute, so while I was in the clouds, there were these birds sat inside of the clouds, and they were all speaking to me in German. And, well, they were basically telling me off for not remembering my parachute in German. They then all formed a line and became my wings, and off I flew around Paris. Weird. Yeah, I'll let that weirdness sink in for a second. But does anyone else have really odd dreams like that? Like, I often dream that I'm either falling or I'm running away from someone as fast as I can when really I'm just like running on the spot. Or sometimes I'm even flying around the place. So anyway, I found this cool website that I will link in today's show notes in case any of you want to check out what your dreams mean. And it basically tells you the meaning of any single dream that you had. So you just put in keywords and it tells you everything about what this means inside, what it means, what's going on in your brain, all that jazz. So it's called dreamdictionary.org. And it's been a bit of an eye-opener for me this last week or so. At one point, a couple of years ago, I used to write down all of my dreams that I could remember in my little journal on my bedside table. So I went and dug this out of my drawers earlier this week, and I went onto this website and I typed in a few of the key themes. And oh my God, I was shocked. Everything that was coming up was about hitting burnout, feeling overwhelmed, and similar things like that. And that's exactly what I was feeling back then. So dream interpretation, it's just about assigning meaning to dreams. So whilst I was doing a bit of research for today's episode, I read that in many ancient societies, you know, like Egypt and Greece, dreams were actually considered prophetic, and they were these prophetic communications or a form of divine intervention, and these messages could be deciphered by people with certain powers. How wild is that? Whereas nowadays, dream interpretation has evolved so much, it's on Google, and it's a psychological and therapeutic practice because, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's telling us what's really going on in our subconscious. It's like, have you ever dreamt of something that seemed like such an insignificant part of your day, for example? So, for instance, the other day, I flicked the TV over, I watched maybe 10 seconds of a TV show about a plane getting hijacked. That night, there I am, on a plane, getting hijacked. It had obviously just gone into my subconscious mind without me even realising, because it was only for 10 seconds, I barely even took it in. So there was a guy called Sigmund Freud, you've probably heard of him before, but he believed that the content of dreams serves as a gateway to the subconscious mind, and it reveals hidden desires and thoughts that we repress throughout the day. So his theory just emphasizes that the content of our dreams is disguised through a process known as dream work. And this process transforms the unacceptable subconscious material into more acceptable content, which is what a person actually remembers upon waking. And I read that he often used dream analysis in his therapy as well. So he interpreted people's dreams as a way to access buried emotional issues and conflicts. It's kind of like when people have those past life regression sessions. They find out who they were in a past life. They're put into a hypnotic state and they ask questions about their past lives. But in actual fact, they're undergoing subconscious dream work. They're letting out everything that the subconscious holds within us. So dream interpretation remains quite a common practice in psychotherapy and counselling even to this day. I know when I went to see a therapist a few years ago, when I felt down at the time, she used my dreams to help me explore my emotions, to cope with stress, to resolve problems, and just to better understand my motivations and desires in life. And while some modern psychologists might see dreams as this cognitive process, others view them as meaningful sources of insight and symbolic thinking. So techniques for interpreting dreams vary widely. So some methods just involve identifying, recurring symbols or recurring themes, examining the emotions that were felt during the dream, or even using that dreamer's own life context to decode any meanings. Now, something that is really, really weird is that I always have totally wild dreams when I sleep nearby my Moldavite. And that can be interpreted itself in two ways. Either the Moldavite is just causing me to have these fucked up thoughts, or what I think is actually happening is that the Moldavite is helping me with transformation, and therefore it's assisting me to process and work through all of my subconscious thoughts through the night whilst I sleep. So when it comes to enhancing dream recall, certain crystals, for example, are particularly effective due to their specific vibrations and energies that resonate with the frequencies of the mind and the subconscious. So some crystals that are commonly recommended for improving your dream recall are amethyst, clear quartz, moonstone, lapis lazuli, labradorite, and moldavite. And I'll break each one down as well so it's easier for you to understand. So if we take amethyst, amethyst is known for its protective and purifying properties. So it enhances intuition and spiritual awareness, but it also helps us to open the third eye. That's going to make it easier to remember and interpret dreams. So just by placing a little amethyst tumblestone under your pillow or a nice little bit of amethyst on your bedside, that's going to promote peaceful sleep and more vivid dreaming. When we look at clear quartz, we think about, it being the master healer. So it amplifies energy and thought, as well as the effects of other crystals around it. So for dreams, it's going to help to clarify and strengthen our memories upon waking. So it can be used alongside other crystals to enhance their dream recalling properties as well. Then we've got moonstone. So moonstone is linked with the moon and it promotes psychic awareness and intuition. So moonstone is especially recommended for encouraging lucid dreaming. Like all those times that we're actually dreaming, but we know that we're dreaming, so we're able to, control the dream itself. That's lucid dreaming. And moonstone is also associated with emotional balance, which can lead to more pleasant dream experiences. Lapis lazuli is known for fostering spiritual enlightenment and enhancing dream work, so it stimulates personal and spiritual power. But it's also a crystal that promotes psychic abilities and inner vision as well, and both of which are beneficial for recalling dreams. Then we've got labradorite, which is probably one of my favourite crystals of all time. That enhances mystical and magical abilities and it protects our aura. So labradorite is particularly useful if you are looking to delve deeper into your subconscious and uncover those hidden messages in your dreams. And then just as I mentioned before, moldavite is often used in crystal healing for intense energy. And that intense energy is said to accelerate spiritual growth. So in terms of dreams, It is sometimes used to induce transformational and vivid dreams and improve recall. And I think that's what's been happening to me. So if you're wanting to improve your dream recall, maybe try one of these in a little organza bag under your pillow. And that's a top tip, by the way. The reason I suggest a little organza bag is because sometimes crystals have sharp edges. And with you wriggling around at night in your sleep, they can sometimes go walkies. So I always find a little organza bag helps you find it the next day, and it protects your face from unwanted scratches overnight as well. So what does all of this have to do with manifestation, I hear you all screaming? So interpreting dreams as part of the manifestation process, that taps into the insights that our subconscious mind can provide. So dreams are often viewed as reflections of our innermost thoughts and our fears and our desires and any unresolved issues. So when we learn to understand the symbols and the messages that occur in our dreams, we can then gain clarity on what truly drives us. We can uncover all these hidden obstacles, and we can align our conscious intentions with our deeper subconscious motivations. Now, dreams can serve as a direct channel to our subconscious, and that's going to reveal desires and fears that we might not be aware of in our waking life. And by interpreting these dreams, we can bring these hidden aspects into consciousness, and that's going to allow us to acknowledge and address them. So it's going from the shadow into the light. This process is going to help us to align our conscious efforts with our subconscious needs. That's going to enhance the effectiveness of our manifestation efforts. So you see, it's all linked to manifestation. It's all linked to the law of attraction. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. No one can see us. Anyway, sometimes what we think we want on a surface level isn't what we truly desire deep down. Dreams can therefore help clarify our intentions by showing us symbols or scenarios that reflect our true feelings and aspirations. And this clarity is crucial in setting intentions that are not only genuine, but also more likely to resonate with our core being. That's going to make them more powerful in the manifestation process. So dreams often dramatize our fears, our anxieties, and any obstacles in symbolic form. And by deciphering those symbols, we can identify all the barriers that might be hindering our path to achieving our goals. So our dreams can also suggest creative solutions to our problems. It can offer us new perspectives. It can even offer us innovative ways to overcome challenges. Manifestation is most effective when we are mentally and emotionally clear and balanced. Let that sink in. It's most effective when we are mentally and emotionally clear and balanced. So dreams can highlight all these unresolved emotional issues or past traumas that need healing. And when we interpret and work through these dream messages, we can then initiate the healing process that clears all the blockages. That's going to free us to pursue our goals with less internal resistance. Therefore, we're going to have more emotional energy. But overall, dreams can be seen as messages from our higher self or the universe, and it's going to guide us to our true purpose and potential. So interpreting these messages can strengthen our connection to a greater consciousness. It's going to enhance our trust in the journey and our ability to co-create with the universe. And this trust is foundational in the law of attraction. It's going to help us to manifest more effectively. So the insights gained from dreams can be incredibly motivating. So they can reaffirm all of our goals, or they can show us the consequences of what will happen if we don't act upon them. This motivation can spur us to then take the necessary actions to manifest our dreams. That's going to reinforce the belief that we're on the right path and that all of our efforts are aligned with our deepest aspirations. So I had a dream last week that I was on stage at Happy Place Festival, for example, but when I woke up and thought about it, it was actually Glastonbury. There were actually something ridiculous, something like 500,000 people stood watching me. Now, that might sound absolutely ridiculous, but in my head it made sense. It made me really motivated to think about what this talk at Happy Place might open doors for. It gave me the clarity to realise that I want to do more speaking gigs. That's what makes my heart sing. I just love to meet you all, and I love to tell my story. It's something that frightens the shit out of me when I think about it, but once I'm up there on that stage and I'm doing my thing, I absolutely love it. I thrive off it. I get such a buzz afterwards. So to incorporate dream interpretation into the manifestation process, you could do what I did. Consider keeping a dream journal. So write down everything that you can recall from your dreams as soon as you wake up. Sometimes I used to go through and I would just review my entries regularly, looking for patterns or symbols or messages that could be related to my current life situations or goals, because it's all about interpretation. It's like if I asked you to swish around a little bowl of tea leaves, every single person would interpret those tea leaves differently. Meditation and reflection on these dreams can aid you further as well, because it's going to help you to understand and integrate these insights into your waking life. And this enhanced awareness can then empower us to manifest our desires more effectively. Now, I'm not saying that every single dream that we have is going to be useful to you to interpret, because one night you might dream that you're a bowl of jelly and you're being eaten alive by a goldfish or some other random shit like that. So differentiating between dreams that are seemingly meaningless and those that carry deeper significance, that can be challenging. Because this interpretive process, like I say, it's highly subjective. It varies based on our own individual experiences. So what might seem insignificant for me might be wholly significant for you. Maybe you had a goldfish when you were younger and it somehow ended up in a bowl of jelly. I don't know, who knows? However, there are some approaches and criteria that you can use to assess the potential significance of your dreams. So the first is emotional impact. So one of the primary indicators of a significant dream is the emotional response that it provokes within us. There's been plenty of times that I've woke up in the middle of the night in like floods of tears, in pools of sweat, or I'm like breathless because I've been getting chased, or I'll wake up and I'll just hit Johnny in the back because he's been cheating on us in my dream or something like that. Dreams that evoke strong feelings or leave a lasting impression upon waking are more likely to carry deeper meanings. So if a dream continues to affect you throughout the day or longer, it might be worthwhile for you to explore that fully to allow yourself to work through its meaning. The second is recurring dreams. So dreams that recur over time are particularly noteworthy, because that repetition suggests that your subconscious is trying to draw your attention to a bit of an unresolved issue or a significant message that you need to address or understand. It's like when the universe sends us messages until we can't ignore them anymore. The third thing to note is vividness and detail. So dreams that are exceptionally vivid or detailed, where all the colours, the sounds, the sensations, where they're all really pronounced, they often have more significance, because that clarity and intensity can indicate that these dreams are conveying an important message to your emotional states. My fourth note is all about context and timing, because the timing of a dream can also provide significant clues. Dreams that occur during significant periods of your life, such as major transitions, stressful events, or personal milestones, they might be more meaningful to you. And additionally to that, the context in which symbols or scenarios actually appear in dreams, that can affect their interpretation and importance as well. And that leads finally on to the fifth thing, which is around symbols in your dreams. So dreams that include symbols or elements that are unusual or particularly striking, they often warrant a bit of a closer investigation. The presence of symbols that resonate with personal experiences or cultural backgrounds or universal archetypes, they can all indicate deeper meanings. So interpreting these symbols in the context of your personal life can reveal insights into your subconscious thoughts and feelings. The sixth thing I've wrote down here is the actual dream's connection to our waking life. So just considering whether the dream connects in any way to your waking life situations, whether it connects to any concerns you have, or even your desires. Dreams that seem to connect or reflect on your real life experience and challenges are likely to be more significant and worth interpreting. And then the last thing that I've wrote down here on my list was about using our intuition, because sometimes the significance of a dream is something that you just feel intuitively. It's like you get a gut feeling. You know that this is actually happening. You know that, you need to interpret this a bit more. You might sense that a dream is telling you something important, even if you're not immediately sure what it is. So trusting your intuition can be quite a key factor in recognizing significant dreams as well. So remember to keep that dream journal by your bedside table, writing down your dreams as soon as you wake up, because that's going to help you remember details and feelings associated with them. Then reflect on your dreams. Spend some time reflecting on your dreams to see if you can connect them to your waking life. And I don't mean like spend a full hour on it or something, maybe just like 2 to 5 minutes. Try and consider what emotions, people, or situations from your day might have influenced your dream. Discuss with other people as well, because sometimes discussing your dreams with others can offer new perspectives or new insights that will help you to clarify their significance. And then something else that I did a bit of research into was all about nightmares and whether these were just negative dreams or if they actually served a specific purpose in our psychological makeup. So, nightmares actually serve several important functions in our psychological makeup because they aren't just random occurrences or disturbances in our sleep. Rather, they can provide, crucial insights into our emotional and psychological state. So, understanding the purpose of nightmares as well, that can help us in addressing underlying issues, and that's going to enhance our emotional well-being. Nightmares can be a way for the brain to process and manage complex emotions, particularly those related to stress, fear, or trauma as well. So by reliving these emotions in a controlled environment in that dream state, we might be able to just confront and work through emotions that are difficult to deal with when awake. So sometimes nightmares serve as signals from our subconscious, highlighting any unresolved conflict, fears, or stress. They can draw attention to issues that we might be ignoring, or even issues that we might be suppressing during our waking hours. And by signaling these problems through intense dream imagery to the brain, our minds encourage us to address these issues consciously as well when we wake. For some people as well, experiencing nightmares can be a bit of a coping mechanism, particularly in those who have experienced trauma. So repeatedly encountering the same frightening scenarios in dreams, that can sometimes help desensitize us to the emotional impact that it has on us. That's going to potentially reduce the intensity of the trauma over time. I did read about a theory as well that suggests that, nightmares could be an evolutionary adaptation. One that just helps prepare us to face these real world threats. Because by simulating threatening situations in our dreams, our minds are essentially engaging in a form of mental rehearsal. It's like a dress rehearsal for them, potentially improving our psychological and physical reactions to fear and stress in our waking life as well. So nightmares can force that introspection by manifesting these deep-seated fears and anxieties, and that can lead to significant personal insights and self-awareness. That's going to prompt changes in behavior or attitudes that can be beneficial in real life as well. Since nightmares are often triggered by stress and anxiety, techniques aimed at managing those conditions can be helpful to get rid. So you can practice things such as meditation, relaxation exercises, breathing exercises, mindfulness, all that jazz. And whilst nightmares can be distressing, because I have so many myself, I get night terrors all the time. I think I even played you one of my night terrors audios, didn't I, in a past episode? The one where I was screaming in the middle of the night when I was like, oh! I'm sure Johnny thinks he goes to bed with Emily Rose on a night. But yeah, since nightmares are often distressing, understanding their potential purposes and learning how to manage or interpret them can really transform these experiences from disturbances into valuable tools for psychological insight. That's going to help us find out what's going on internally. So using that website that I shared earlier, dreamdictionary.org, I'm going to give you the interpretation of the 5 most commonly dreamed about things. So the first is having dreams about being chased. I have these all the time. These dreams are extremely common. In these dreams, you might not know exactly what or who is chasing you. You're just in a blind panic. You may also feel like you can't run fast, or that you're trying to run and you're actually slowing down and it's just keeping you in one space, like I mentioned earlier. Dream interpreters often interpret these dreams as you attempting to avoid something in your life. So if you ever have a dream about being chased, it's because you're trying to avoid something. You're trying to run away from it. Do you see that significance? Or that you maybe want to escape from fears or unwanted desires, but you feel that you can't. If you're able to identify what or who is chasing you, that can further explain your dream. For example, a dream about being chased by someone that you quite fancy could, mean that you're afraid of romance or that you're afraid of starting a new relationship. The second most common dream is having dreams about falling. So, dreams where you're falling, they're really, really common. I have these all the time as well. And these typically stem from anxiety. So many people think that having fallen dreams occur to express fear or insecurities that you feel like you have no control over. So dream interpreters also widely believe that fallen dreams are a sign that something in your life isn't going as well as you'd hoped. So perhaps you're failing at work or you're failing in your marriage. which could lead to dreams like this. Does that make sense? The third most common dream is dreaming that you're naked. Now, this is something that I don't think I've ever dreamed of, but if you've ever had a dream in which you showed up to school or work or somewhere else public in your birthday suit, you're not alone apparently. It's quite normal to fear societal embarrassment, and that's what these dreams typically symbolize. So dreams about being naked in public can also mean that you're worried about your appearance, or that you're trying to hide something from other people. But you can't do that when you're naked. You've got nothing to hide. It's all on show. The fourth most common dream is, just like I mentioned before, dreaming of being able to fly. So dreams where you're flying like a superhero, they can mean that you feel liberated, powerful, or free. On the other hand, dreams about flying can also indicate that you feel a desire to escape or fly away from something in your life. Not all flying dreams are bad. However, if you are flying alone, this can mean that you feel independent, you feel confident. And then the fifth most common dream is something that I've never dreamt of personally either, but it's so popular to dream about. This is a dream where your teeth are falling out. Your teeth! I've never heard of this before. How strange. Either that they're falling out or that they're loose and wiggling. There are also dreams where people suddenly have no teeth. If you've experienced this, don't be afraid. This is likely your brain's way of coping with a situation in which you feel powerless, or you might feel embarrassed or unable to communicate. But these types of dreams could also indicate that you're worried about your personal appearance, or that you may have said something embarrassing. So they're the top 5. But honestly, go and visit that website. It's called dreamdictionary.org. That's O-R-G. And I will link it in the show notes for today's episode as well. But what are your dreams telling you subconsciously? And how can you interpret those messages to find out what your subconscious really wants you to have in life? So just before I go, I must let you know that we had a huge delivery of Moldavite last week. So there are pieces from as low as £12. There are Moldavite rings, Moldavite earrings. We have both droplet earrings as well as stud earrings now as well. Go and check them out. They're beautiful. And the website also had a huge restock as well. So all your old favorites should now be back in stock. Remember to use the word podcast at checkout for 10% off your next order as my way of saying thank you for listening to the pod. You might have also heard at the start of this episode, unless you fast forwarded the ads, that I am also hosting another money mindset workshop. Now, this time it's totally free of charge to anyone that needs it on Friday, the 31st of May, 2024 at 6 p.m. UK time. If you can't attend live, don't worry. You'll still be sent the link to watch the replay on catch up whenever you like. So you can sign up for your free place now at cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk/workshop. So I'm dying on my ass here. My throat is so sore. If you've enjoyed today's episode, which I really hope that you did, please, please, please leave me a review. Leave me a star rating on whichever platform that you're listening from. This really does help the pod reach new audiences, and it helps me get amazing guests on the show as well. So I hope that you all have an amazing week ahead. I hope that you all go and enjoy that sunshine, get the Factor 50 on, and I will see you all next Friday for another episode. Lots of love, guys. Bye.